Hello, good evening. Gary Gedall, psychologist, psychotherapist, here on my terrace outside Lausanne. This is I'm just going to start this. I'm actually, I have a treadmill, and while I'm talking to you, I'm going to advance with my treadmill, which is, this will be the second half hour because I've already started the first half hour in French. So I've already done half an hour of walking. I didn't count to see how much I walked, but I think it was about 0.8 of a kilometer. I don't know. It says distance, but it doesn't say how much it is. I presume it's in kilometers because everything here is a sort of French and European and things like that. So, just to begin with, to say where I'm at, okay, as you can see, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm on the outside. I have a terrace that's covered, and on this terrace, this is where we are. And I have my treadmill, which is going to keep me, give me some good exercise while I'm talking to you. So let's go to something good. So to begin with, this morning I weighed and measured myself. So the big terrible stuff was I'd hit again 101 kilograms, which I think is about 222 pounds or something like that, and 108 centimeters, which is, I don't know, 36, 37, something like inches around the waist. So I'm starting off with a bit heavy, a bit chubby, but that's okay. It's okay because it's a starting point. And all of you will be having a starting point. You'll have a point at which you begin. And what's important is to begin. What is so important is that you know where you're starting from and you say, okay, this is my project. This is my plan. This is where I'm starting to, where I'm wishing to go. And that is so, so important. It's important that you know where you want to go. You notice where you're starting from, like with me, with my weight, with my size. But as this challenge for me isn't actually about weight or size. It's about eventually being able to do a 10-kilometer marathon. That was the plan. Hi, welcome. So just to say, I have come across this idea to do this marathon and talk about realistic goals and how we get to our goals and how our goals are planned. So this April, I was coming back to town on a Saturday morning, and I was frustrated because I was blocked by a marathon in Lausanne, where I live. And that was fine. And it sort of went in my head that this idea that there is this marathon in Lausanne in beginning of May. I think it's end of April. So when I started to plan for this 70-day challenge, because every time I start a 70-day challenge, I start one for myself. That's very, very important that you know that you're not alone with this. I'm not sort of sitting on the chair saying, oh, do this, do that, it'll be great, smoking my pipe and drinking my coffee or whatever. No, that's not the way it works. The way it works is that we do this together. That's why I'm on this treadmill. I'm on this treadmill so that every night you see that I am making efforts to go forward with this project. So what happened? So when I decided to do this challenge this time, I said, oh, I know what could be fun. Crazy I am. Let's do a marathon. I looked and saw how long is a marathon. Well, a marathon is 40 kilometers, which divide by 8 minus 5, which is about 25 miles, I think. I thought, there's no way I'm going to do 25 miles. Forget that. Okay, that's too much. So what about a half marathon? Now, a half marathon is 20 kilometers, 12 and a half miles. I thought, man, that sounds feasible. I might be able to do that. And then I realized how much time it would take to actually do the marathon. Now, It's fine once. So, okay, on that date, I'm going to spend a couple of hours doing 2, 3, 4 hours walking these 20 kilometers. But to do it properly, you need to do some practicing, some training, which means that you need to be able to do that maybe once a month as you get closer to the date. And I thought, there's no way with the organization of my time, I'm going to be able to do 2, 3, maybe even 4 hours. I mean, how slow I am, once a month. It just didn't seem feasible. Plus getting ready afterwards and things like that. So again, I brought it down. I brought it down to 10 kilometers. I thought, now that is totally doable. That I got the time for, and I've got the energy for, and I can do that. And then I thought to myself, okay, well, 10 kilometers, that's quite a lot on the body for an old body. And I'm not lucky, but I'm 68 years old. I'll be 69 by the time I do the marathon. I thought, I'm trying to get up to that in 70 days. Maybe I'm demanding too much of myself. So what I've decided to do is to accept a partial success, which is to be able to do a 5-kilometer marathon after 70 days by the middle of December, when this 70-day challenge finishes. And when I do the next one, because the next one starts in January, so if you've come in late or if you're not going to succeed as much as you want, you can join me again in January through March. I do 3 times a year for my sins, whatever they may be. So I've ended up with the project of doing the 10-kilometer quarter marathon in Lausanne in April. But that is a totally realistic and doable goal. And what is important is that we set ourselves goals that are reasonable and doable. And we need to decide for ourselves what it is that we plan to do. And once we've actually decided that it's feasible, that it's doable, then we need to start thinking about strategies. How are we going to do that? How are we going to organize ourselves? Because these things don't come out of nowhere. If you want to obviously lose weight and go on a diet, choose a diet plan. Maybe you choose a fitness plan. Obviously, if you want to do a marathon, you need to do a plan for that. But there's so many other things that you could plan to do. I've got lots of patients that they use this structure to cut down on the cigarettes, cut down on drinking, and cut down in medications. I'm talking about recreational drugs, but that could happen. But I'm not pushing for that. I mean, I'll leave that to them. But there are other things that you can do, and to do that, you need to have a strategy. You need to have a plan. You need to say, okay, what do I intend to do in this time and this time and this time? Now, it's not life or death. The whole point of this is that I'm not here to control what you do. I'm not here to control whether you succeed or fail or succeed partially. I'm not here for that. I'm here to support you going forward. And going forward, even if you don't arrive exactly where you plan to be or as much as you plan to be, it's not the point. The point is that here, now, you have a starting point. And if you start, and if you keep going, and you're consistent, you will advance. Now, that's just the fact. You can't carry on doing something positive, useful, functional, and not advance. Of course you'll advance. My walking this treadmill this evening, which will be altogether 1 full hour of walking by the end of this recording, has got to do me good. Now, it won't do me an enormous amount of good. It'll do me a little bit of good, just minuscule good. But that takes me forward. That starts the process. That's something I can say, okay, this evening I have succeeded to do my walking. And tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, I'll do it again. Now, I'm very fortunate because you are helping me. Because I do this 4 times a week. I do half an hour French, for their sins, because my French is special, and half an hour in English. So that means that you, because you're there, because you're here, because you are also doing this with me on YouTube, you are helping me structure my challenge. And that's the way it works. We're there to help structure the challenge of each other. Everybody has their challenge, whatever it might be. There was somebody just before that was out of work. I suggested maybe their challenge should be to get a job. Now, maybe they'll get a job in a week or 2 weeks or in 8 or 9 weeks. It doesn't matter, because if their challenge is to get a job, that means they need to structure a plan. And their plan would need to be to continue to look for work, maybe in a wider and wider area, geographically and professionally, and maybe have other ideas of what they can do, and to seek those job possibilities, and start writing motivation letters. Not just applications, but motivation letters. And if they keep doing that, sooner or later, we get a job. Because that's the way it works. Every time we go forward with something, every time we keep going and keep doing and keep doing and keep doing, we get closer and closer to success. And that success is created by us. It's created by a continual, sustained effort. And that is what is so important about the 70-day challenge, is that it's limited in time. That's obviously something that's very, very important. It's not forever. There's an end to it. The end is before the Christmas holidays, or Hanukkah, or whatever particular thing that you do at the end of the year, New Year. So it doesn't go over into the holiday seasons, no, well, the different ones of you. And so you know that it's not going to last forever. So it's worth getting into. It's worth doing. And by being here tonight, you've started. I don't know what you've done. I don't know if you've done anything. But the fact that you're here, the fact that you're watching this, is your start. And I would like you maybe to write just a line of where you're from, and maybe even what your challenge is, if you already know what it is. It'd be nice to see, because then I can share that with everybody else. But it's not an obligation. What is important is that you're here, all of you. You're here, you're watching this, you are using the space to reinforce your confidence in yourself. Because when I say change your life in 70 days, you're not going to change your life because you lose a few pounds. You're going to change your life because you lose a few inches. It's not going to change your life because you cut down on your smoking or your drinking. What will change your life is your image of yourself. Is that you can say, okay, I gave myself a challenge. That was a real challenge, not something too easy. Because if it's too easy, it's not really a challenge, is it? You know, I'm going to have a challenge. I'm going to walk down the end of the street. I'm going to buy myself some fish and chips, and I'm going to come back. That's my challenge. Well, for most people, it's not much of a challenge. My mother, who is 92 years old and is not very good at walking at the moment, not doing very well, her to walk to the end of the street to buy some fish and chips would be a big challenge. I think maybe I should tell her that and say by the end of the 70 days, I want you to be able to go to this road and buy some fish and chips. I think it's actually a fish and chip shop at the end of her road. But that's not the point. The point is, what is it that you can challenge yourself with, that when you succeed, even partially, because this idea of partial success is also important, because it's not all or nothing. It's not black and white. Oh, I didn't succeed what I planned, so I'm a total failure. No, that's not the way it works. What it works is to say, where did I start? Where was I 70 days ago? What was I capable to do? How much did I invest in myself? How much did I focus on what was important, not only for everybody else, but also for myself, for my own improvement? Because it could be learning something. The whole point of the 70-day challenge is that it's you that decides what is right for you, what is important for you, how you can test yourself. And by testing yourself, you can say, hey, I was capable to keep going because I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here every single week for the 10-week challenge. Every single week, hopefully 4 nights a week. You know, things could happen that I don't make it every night. But the plan is I'm going to be here 4 nights a week, 10 weeks, 70 days. And I'm going to be here there for you. All of you. No matter what your challenge is, no matter what you want to do, no matter what you need to do, it doesn't matter. What matters is the fact that you challenge yourself and say, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep walking. I'm going to keep going forward. And maybe I have good days and bad days. And if there's a bad day and I don't succeed as much as I planned or went backwards, it doesn't matter because I'm going to carry on. I'm going to keep going forward. I'm going to keep trying. Because when we have a look at all the successful people in life, most of them failed. Most of them failed. Most of them were considered to be no good. So I presume most of us know the story, like of Walt Disney. Walt Disney got sacked from a newspaper because it wasn't creative enough. There are singers that were rejected by record labels because they couldn't sing well enough. They became #1 top stars. There are actors that tried and tried and tried to get in and couldn't get anywhere. Most of the actors I know are sort of dead by now. You know, Fred Astaire, can't sing, could dance a little, can't act. Became a superstar. That's a bit before the time for everybody. Many. I mean, let's look at Star Trek. Now, you must know that Star Trek was taken off the air because it wasn't successful. Simple as that. It wasn't successful. It was only the Trekkies that continued to push for it and support it and say how good it was, and the actors that continued to support the followers, the Trekkies, and they believed in it. They believed in Star Trek. They kept going. Even after it was cancelled, it still came forward. And it worked. Even if you fall down, even if you don't think you can make it, it doesn't matter. Because get up. Start again. Keep going. And I know that you can succeed because I've also failed in life. I've also been sacked, been thrown out of places, not being good enough. I know. I've been there. I just carried on regardless. And that's how you succeed in life. And some of the challenges I put for myself, when I think back at them, they were crazy, they were insane, they were unreasonable. And yet I succeeded them. And that's why this 70-day challenge is important. Because I know that most of you will succeed your challenges. You might not succeed 100%, but you will succeed because by quantifying what you want to get, where you want to go, what you want to reach, by quantifying it, I want this, and noticing where you start from, then every time you start to lose courage, to lose force, to say I'll never make it, you start to look back. And as you look back, you start to see how far you've come. Obviously, in the first 1, 2, even 3 weeks, it's not going to be enormous. Once you start to get to the 4th week, and the 4th and 5th week can seem long. I admit that. Once you get to that, around the halfway stage, it's like it's lasting forever. I'm never going to get there. Is this worth it? Why am I doing this? I'm an idiot to try, etc., etc. And that's when it's really important to know where you've come from, to see the steps you've already taken. And yes, it might not be as much or as far as you fantasized before you started, but it's still going to be something, because each step takes you forward. Each step. And that's why this treadmill that I'm on is so important. I'm walking slowly. I'm walking at a speed of 3 kilometers an hour, which is nothing. But I'm walking, and I keep walking. I'm scratching my head, scratching my neck, because I'm sweating. But that's what's important. It's important just to keep going. You don't have to do anything miraculous. You don't have to do any extreme stuff. I don't want you to do extreme stuff. I don't want you to fast for 10 days. I don't want you to go to the fitness for 2-3 hours a day every day. I don't want you to, if you a habit of smoking 40 cigarettes, you just don't stop in one go. These things, especially if you're not cigarettes, but on prescribed medication, these things you need to move relatively slowly to change. And it's this constant advancing, constant moving forward, like me, constantly walking one step at a time, because that one step at a time will take me to my marathon, will take me towards my 10 kilometer goal for these next 2 sessions. So think about it. You have put yourself on the path. You have given yourself a challenge. And that challenge is so, so, so important. It's so important because by taking this challenge, you are challenging the most important person in the world, yourself. This is for your own self-image, for your own self-confidence. This is to be able to look in the mirror and say, hey, I can change my life. I can do something. And that, as a therapist, I'll tell you, is the most important step. Because many of my patients come to me and they're despondent. They're destroyed. They are convinced that things cannot improve. Things cannot get better. They're stuck where they are. And they're stuck in something that's horrible. And my first job is to bring back courage, bring back aspiration, bring back the ability to dream that things will be better, that things can change. And I spend quite a lot of time to begin with many of my patients that are in that sort of depressed state. Let's put it over there, see what my hobby is. Are in that depressed state. And I work with them and work with them and work with them until they suddenly feel that things can change. And once you feel that things can change, once you're convinced in the possibility that whatever you're living, whatever it is, however bad it is, can get better, you already made the most difficult move. You've started. That's what today is. That's what this evening is to start. You're on the path. You've started. And by starting, you can already project yourself into the future, into feeling good about yourself, feeling successful. And yes, of course, there are those around you, some that will be detractors. People say, oh, you can't do it, and or it's no big deal, or who cares, or anything like that. But some people around you will see you and say, hey, I didn't think you could do that. She could do it. I didn't think it was possible for them. I didn't think they could carry on for 70 days to go forward on something. They've never started, or they've always given up. And this doesn't help your image or self-image. When people think so negatively of you, when they give you such negative feedback of who you are and the value of your life and the value of the things you do, that's not helping. What helps is to say, I can do this. And I know you can do this. Because I've already done this twice. I'm doing it again. And I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep challenging myself then challenging you. I challenge you to keep step with me the whole 70 days. And in those 70 days, we will change your life. We will change your life because you will start to see yourself differently. You'll start to see yourself as someone that can succeed. And for many of us, we've gone through many, many negative moments of our lives where we've become convinced that we can't succeed in anything. And that's so awful. This is your opportunity. It's an opportunity between you and yourself. I'm just here on the outside. You and yourself to prove that you're worthy, that you're capable, that you're somebody of value. And it doesn't matter. It so much doesn't matter what it is that you choose to do. As long as for you it is a challenge, that is what is important. This is difficult. This is going to be something that's going to take a lot of effort, consistency. And that will help you to change your life. So, coming towards the end of this evening, I've done 1.27 kilometers. I've gone a bit faster, and I've done about 2 kilometers this evening, which is not nothing. So, if I can start at 2 kilometers, it's not going to take that long to be able to get to 5. Just a question of time, and keep going, and keep going, and keep going. And so that's what I'm supporting you with. What time is it? Yeah, I think that's getting towards 30 minutes. I can't see, I've got a very small clock. It says 27. We got a few minutes left. So let me know where you're at, where you live, what time it is where you live. It's nice to know. Sometimes I get people from all over the world, and they have very different time zones, and I'm very impressed that they managed to be available to share with us these moments. And if you like, I'd really like to know what your challenge is, so that I can keep an eye on who we've got, where they're going, and what's happening in their lives. Because, as I say, it's important for me. As I say, for the moment, this is 100% free. I don't know if you know, but there is a free ebook that you can download, which takes you through the 70 days. There's a story, which is actually first few chapters in one of my books, which is a nice story, which talks about continuing, and arriving at your goals. There are motivational quotes. There is the initial form to fill in that you can download. And there is the daily journal for you to fill in, which again you can download, and you can make copies of yourself. And I get nothing from that. So I'm just here for you. So all I want is to know you're going forward and your lives are improving, and somehow I can be part of that. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now. Same time, same place. Tomorrow. I'm just trying to sort out where's the mouse? Oh, there's the mouse.